Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the lunar eclipse. It is on September 7. It's at 15 degrees of Pisces, and this, along with the solar eclipse that's on September 21, this is a pair of pretty intense eclipses. So we're going to concentrate in this video on the lunar eclipse and what it may mean for you. This video is a little bit different than my usual videos. There's no tutorial in this video at the end because I wanted to really focus on the eclipses and give you more information. And so those tutorials will be coming back after we finish eclipse season. Okay, Leo, this Pisces eclipse, of course, makes by sign an inconjunct to your own sign, and so there are some adjustments that have to be made. Now, it is lighting up your area of resources from others, which means that you can get, advice, expert help, guidance, but also actual cash or other resources. But in accepting these favors, what can happen is that you have to concede some sort of territory or some part of what you want. There has to be kind of a give and take, and with this inconjunct energy by sign, it may feel like it's something that either that you're surprised that they're asking for or that you were hoping they were not asked for. And so basically you can get quite a lot through this eclipse, new opportunities, but you have to share the throne or concede something. Now, the other thing that can happen for you during this eclipse is that you have focused on who you want the favor from or what it is exactly that you want, and you get a no. That someone closes the door and says this is not an option. And you have to recognize, because this is an eclipse, that door is really closed and it is time to seek alternatives. That again is connected to that inconjunct energy. So if you are receiving a no from a bank, if you're receiving no from somebody who you want to collaborate with, take it as real. It's not necessary at that point for you to do backflips to try to get them to give you what you want. It would be better to say, this is closed, I'm going to go another direction. Now, there is one other possibility, and that is that you feel like there are no resources out there, nobody's offering, and you're not seeing anything that you're interested in. And so that can mean that from this eclipse that you feel blocked, and that there is something within you that maybe is your pride, or maybe has something to do with fear, or something that is stopping you from seeing the opportunities out there. And so doing some inner work, looking at maybe things that have happened to you in the past and knowing that those aren't going to repeat. You've learned, you've grown, but also not taking some sort of universal idea that, there's no help out there, or, deciding that what's happening for others is going to happen to you as well, because it can be a very different story for you. So if you were given the chance to completely change one part of your life, what would it be? Take a moment and think about this, because oftentimes that answer will tell you where the eclipse is falling in your chart. And so when we have an eclipse, especially an eclipse that affects the sun in the chart, what gets affected is how you describe yourself to yourself and to others. Then, just less than a month later, Venus opposes the eclipse degree, and that happens on October 1st. And that's going to be some sort of maybe announcement about commerce, about prices, about goods, because Venus rules the Taurus energy, which is the stuff that we want to have. Now, probably the 410 hit is considered one of the most stressful because it is about home and career. And of course, you can mitigate a lot of this energy by leaning in and making as many changes as you can in those areas. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the Sun's making a very nice sextile to Jupiter. That means there are opportunities to find a love relationship. Now, finding a love relationship during eclipse season is risky because there can be a lot of drama in the relationship. It could be that the other person's just getting out of a relationship, so they're not quite fully ready, or that may be the circumstances for you. So even though you are receiving this energy, you may want to put off a first date or connecting with the person until we're out of eclipse season, and that would be October. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the Sun's not making an aspect with Uranus, nor is it making an aspect with Saturn, which means that basically the two of you there's some harmony, but it is that, they're in their little world and you're in your little world. And it's not like you're able so easily to come together to work out problems or to work as a team. So it's, sometimes that's just the way it is, that, you're maybe going off to work and they are, working on their job or the kids or something like that. So if it's that case, just treat this as, okay, most of the time the relationship is like this. If there's something that you need to work out together, recognize that there's no connection going on and you have to be patient and talk things through. Make sure you're dealing with a shared language, shared vocabulary, so that you both are defining terms the same way. It just takes extra work. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Mercury, which is in a money house, and the eclipse is in a money house. So you have very strong energy around money, and money matters right now. And that Mercury allows you to make, do important communications, connect with people, do advertising. Certainly wouldn't want to launch, though, any sort of big advertising on the eclipse itself. You can do a few days before, a few days after, and double check all of your copy to make sure that, and your links to make sure they work, etc. So, because eclipses can, bring problems. But otherwise, you do have some big opportunities where people might call for some sort of partnership or connection, or again, all that resource stuff I was talking about at the beginning. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Mercury's not making an aspect with Neptune, but because the eclipse is there, you do have strong prospects for setting things in motion. One of the things to be aware of, that business is basically a set of problems, and as you solve the problems, you do better and better. And the eclipse will definitely bring those puzzles for you, those little conundrums to try to work out, whether those are about, employees or technology or just an unhappy customer. The options here are to move towards the problem and say, you know what, I love solving problems and I can do this, or to get frustrated by it. And so, of course, try for option one. Now, when it comes to money from your career, so that would be a paycheck, Mercury is pretty well placed here to give you some sort of opportunity to get an offer or to get some sort of perks or to get something that you want. The eclipse energy, though, means that there could be a turnabout or a big change in the process of the negotiation, where they suddenly turn around and say, oh, your manager's leaving, do you want to be the manager? Or we're closing down your department, can you move to this department? So there may be some dramatic changes, and you want to be ready to capitalize on those to say, yes, sure, I'll take on this extra responsibility or this new position, but I want more money. Now, I have pre-recorded a class on these two eclipses, and this class covers what houses the eclipse is going to fall in your chart and the planets that could be affected. If you want to know more about this class and get access, there is a link in the description. Or consider having a reading, and that link is also in the description.